Tommy Reynolds has his gun out. He's pointing the gun, and all of a sudden, I see this woman.
They say it's on every single station. They're saying that Daddy died.
He said there was an accident and your father is no longer with us.
In real life, I'm not like that.
And the Mario test was disgusting.
One night I jumped out of a car doing 60 miles an hour because I was addicted.
Salute, Mob Tube.
Salute, Mob Tube. How's everybody doing tonight? Let's see. Diego Squires, Miss Can't Be Wrong. The Truth, Redheaded Stepchild. Mikhail 1. Big Texas Barbecue. Beck Brooklyn. Antonino, FBI. Junior Lollipops, Charm City, Tears. Miss McGinnis, Frankie Rizzo. Arthur Stewell, Mob Entertainment Group. Oh, sheesh. Sorry, guys. Dude, FBS doesn't do mob shows, dude. Well, tonight I do. Listen, I'm actually going to cut off the shout-outs real quick so I could get on to some other things before Mike joins us, okay? Because this is mostly going to be Mike's show tonight. Let him speak his piece on whatever he wants to talk about, and I'm sure he's going to have a lot of good and funny stories for us, so I'm looking forward to it. But before I do that, I want to fill you in on some things, okay? I did start my channel memberships, okay? This is something we're all going to be doing. So you can purchase a membership now. I believe it's $4.99 a month. It'll have exclusive perks like members-only videos, early access to certain videos, and a bunch of other stuff that I'll talk about in the days to come. So if you want to purchase a membership, feel free. Like I said, we'll talk more about that in the future. But another thing is just a little information in advance of what will be coming out. I did get the entire report, and I'm talking about hundreds of pages on Danny Trio. Okay. I was right. Was absolutely right about pretty much everything I said. His actual name, I did find out, it appears, that the home he lives in now belongs to his mother. Okay. Which doesn't surprise me. I had a feeling, but that's what it looks like. He was, in fact, the wash and wear burglar. I have it documented in court records. Okay. What else? He never killed nobody, like I said, never even shot nobody. Matter of fact, most, if not all, of his criminal charges took place in Broward County, Florida. Okay, Fort Lauderdale. None in New York that I've seen so far. I'm going to organize it all and go through it, on a show, most likely tomorrow or the next day. I'll go through everything. But from what I've seen, most, if not all, of his charges are also for burglary and auto theft, things like that. Never robbed no jewelry store. I never killed nobody. Okay, so another fraud. He does go by the aliases Danny Trio and Danny Triola, stuff like that. That's a fact. So the stuff is confirmed now. You know what I mean? And it's nice to actually have all the records and documents. This whole story that he's been telling, what you're going to find out from these records is most of his life has been spent in Florida. Okay. And if he was around mob guys, he was around mob guys well before he turned 18. Because by the time he went back to Brooklyn, there wasn't many left. And now he's living in Florida again. So we have all that stuff. I actually just sent it to Common Sense to look over, and he's shocked. He's shocked by how much there actually is there. I'm not going to lie. The dude has a long criminal record, and he has done some time. He did a 4.5 in Florida State Prison, I believe. He did another 5 years, I think, in the same prison. But like I said, it's all for burglary and auto theft. No kind of shooting or violence, nothing like that. Nothing. So his story is nonsense. And FBS was right again. Look at this. We already got some members. Nice. Mikhail 1. Thank you very much, bro. I appreciate that. I didn't expect to get any tonight. Antonino, new member. Thank you, Antonino. I appreciate you. Now, there's what I'm going to try to do. I was talking this over with SoFlo. SoFlo will probably be making the same announcement for his channel maybe tomorrow or the next day. I want to find out if there's a way to give free memberships to, like, some of the moderators and some of the people who donate quite often, things like that. I'm going to try to look into it. I'm not sure if I can, but if I can, I certainly will. Yeah, he's a fugazi. Absolutely. He's a fugazi. K-Mac, the member thing is basically this. You buy a membership. It's like $4.99 a month. And you'll get certain content that others won't get. You will get exclusive content just for members only. You will get early access to certain videos. If I might be getting ready to drop some good information, I might do it on a members only video and then maybe release that video to the public 3 days later, something like that. But there's some other perks involved that I'm going to go over with you guys tomorrow. But it's a cool little thing and it's cheap. You know what I mean? The Drizza, new member. Thank you very much, the Drizza. And Philadelphia, like you don't do enough for me already. Pee-wee, my man, I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you, all you guys. How do you do the membership thing? As far as how you guys do it, be perfectly honest, I'm not sure. For members only clothing. No. Oh, Danny wears the jackets, I think, members only. Like in The Sopranos, but no, we don't sell members only clothing. Yeah, listen, I was told to do it by many, many different people, including some of my own subscribers. So I figured let's give it a shot. I don't know how you guys sign up. Is it right at the bottom there? I would assume. However, these guys are doing it. MRE Fertilizer Management, new member. Thank you, bro. Damn, that's 5 members already. We've been on 7 minutes and 43 seconds. Very nice. Just close the chat under the video. You can click become a member. Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah, I'd appreciate it. As many as you guys can, you know what I mean? It'll always be fair. I'll always make sure everybody gets to see everything, but we'll do things for just members as far as maybe doing certain videos members only. And like I said, I might then make the videos public. It's not going to be all videos, certain ones, certain things I do. I have some ideas in mind. You know what I mean? Plus your comments and stuff, I believe, yeah, you'll be highlighted like this, basically. If you could see MRE Fertilizer Management in the chat, for example, he's lit up in green, things like that. You get priority comments, or in other words, when members leave comments, they stick out more, so I'll see them. You'll get your comments read easier, things like that. It's a pretty cool little thing that YouTube features. Redheaded Stepchild, new member. Thank you, bro. Mr. H, new member. Thank you as well. Wow, you guys are great, man. Diego Squires, new member. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm shocked. I didn't think I would. I told SoFlo today I probably won't get 10 members, and I think I got almost that already. So thank you. Thank you very much. Antonino, did I hear we're getting a members only jacket? Yes, we all are, each one of us. Philadelphia, they also can never take your membership channel down. Is that true? I didn't know that. MRE Fertilizer Management. He's just shouting out Bobby Barbarian. So here we go. Listen, guys, I will shout you out as I can. Any comments, super chats, whatever. But I'm going to have Mike on now, and he's going to talk about some things, including Mikey scars. I had a conversation with him on the phone earlier, and I'm interested in hearing what he has to say because I know he's got some opinions. Joey Knuckles, new member. Thank you. Amateur Historian, new member. Holy shit. Frankie Rizzo, new member. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you. So here's Mike DiBella. What's up, bro?
What's going on, pal? How you doing?
Good. It's the first time we saw you on screen.
I know. It's a little weird, to be honest with you. I got my co-host right here. All right?
Oh, nice.
Jax.
He or she?
That's he. He goes everywhere with me. Like, boy.
That's what's up, man. He's a cutie, bro. Jason B., thank you, man, for the membership. Thank you so much, bro.
What are you only two on here?
Yep.
Very nice.
Ray Schultz, thank you as well, bro.
Nice.
Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
Nice. No. Just keep doing your thing. I'm just trying to read these comments real quick. What's going on?
Yeah, I think people are excited to have you on, bro. You're a hit, without a doubt.
You know what it is? I'm just being real. There's nothing. People could do all their research they want to do. They could check me out. But like I said, there's nothing to check out because everything I'm telling you is the truth.
Yeah.
It was never, as far as Mikey goes, I tried to reach out to Mikey a few weeks ago. I talked to you. Remember, I asked you, I said, maybe you could talk to, if there was you had a channel to him.
Yeah.
Try to talk to him. Then I wound up getting in touch with him myself and by leaving a couple comments. And he really thinks that he's still in the life. He still thinks that, at some point he was, the captain of the crew that I was in. And he acts like he doesn't remember anybody. He just wants to tell the stories he wants to tell. And, you sit back and you're like, it's almost like Jimmy was talking about him. And then he came out and, tried to disrespect Jimmy. If that's the way I seen it. Jimmy was talking nice about him. And then all of a sudden, Mikey's like, started talking shit.
Yeah.
But, I was just trying to bullshit with him. Like, listen, you talk to your brother-in-law anymore. Just shooting his shit because I don't really even care what he did. He ratted. It had no effect on me whatsoever. None. I was just trying to be one man to another man and just shooting the shit with him, reminiscing. And he's like, oh, no, that wasn't me. That wasn't me.
Hang on, Mike. I hate to cut you off right now, but I think somebody in the chat here is right. I think you got to turn your TV off. I might get a copyright.
Oh, yeah?
I didn't even think about that. Thank you, Mikhail One. Thank you very much. All right, yeah, sorry about that. Go on with
No, you're good. I don't want you to get in trouble or anything. Come on.
Yeah.
So he just starts talking. I was just reminiscing with him about some, like the stuff that I was talking about with AC. There was a time when Frankie's like, listen, I want to take Big Louie and my brother-in-law down to AC. So he had to pick up anyway. I was dropping him off in an envelope. We were meeting on Page Diner all the way at the end of Staten Island. And they pulled up in a limo. I broke Frankie off. Mikey was in there. And and he's like, oh, that wasn't me. I don't need to go in limos. I never drove in a limo with Louie. And I'm like, what the fuck is this guy saying? And he's, I started bringing some other stuff up. And he's like, no, that never happened. I was never around there. I didn't do that. And then he's like, you know what? I think you should, any questions should go through RJ now and this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, this fucking guy. And I started hearing him on, oh, John told me this, he whispered this to me. He whispered that to me. And I'm like, and then I see pictures of him and RJ. He's wearing, like you just said, RJ says he's driving around in these cars and he's taking them places. And RJ said he seen the gangster come out of my. I don't know if you just seen that episode. He said he was with him. They were driving around and he could tell that Mikey still has the gangster in him.
Yeah.
Well,
no, I didn't see it.
I like to give Mikey a fucking backhand. That's what I like to do if I ever see him. Okay. Because I kicked, it's a fucking funny story because if somebody wants to act like all of a sudden, you guys are right. He's definitely fucking team fucking Gotti, without a doubt. He's without a doubt team Gotti. because everything out of his mouth is John Jr. I guarantee if John Jr. reached out to him, I wouldn't even. I guarantee they're still talking. They probably are still talking right now.
Oh yeah. That's the rumor, bro. I wouldn't doubt it for a second.
So, he's it's just fucking amazing. There was a time when you never really heard of Mikey until he became a captain. You heard of him, but you didn't really hear of him. He was more because he married Frankie's sister. That's when you started hearing more about him. And he could hear this and he could reach out to me. I'll fly out to wherever he is. You know what I mean? He wants to sit down. He wants to, go to a restaurant. He wants to come to Vegas. I'll fly out to him because this is man to man. This is what it is. That captain status is fucking over. That whole captain status is over. So this is just man to man. If he wants to, if he wants to sit down, RJ could name the place, whatever the case may be. But he's not going to sit there and pretend like what happened didn't happen, or try to like fucking talk to me like I'm still some 20-year-old kid in the street. I was trying to give the guy his respect and talk to him and, just being disrespectful. But a funny story about Mikey is, I had a lot of guys that I was around, and I'll give you a little insight. And the reason why I was around Bath Avenue a lot in Bay 16th was because I was dating this girl, Jimmy Gallo's niece. Jimmy Gallo, he wasn't with the Gallos, Crazy Joe Gallo. He was with the Del Cavanti in Jersey, but he was from Red Hook. But he was with Vinny Ocean. So his niece lived on Bay 16th. And that's why I used to go. I was over there a lot. And then she was dating Gerard Bellafiore, and then she break up with him, and then I dated her, and then me and him would fight. It was just one of those fucking things. But believe me, Gerard got the better end of the fucking deal because I wound up having 2 kids with her. You know what I mean? So he got away fucking good because we moved out to Vegas, and she came out to Vegas, and she couldn't deal with it, and she fucking left. And I raised my 2 kids. So she went back to Staten Island. But believe me, Gerard got the better end of that fucking deal. So that's how I was around Bay 16, Bath Avenue, and all that all the time with those guys. But so I was always around, I had my father, I had Jimmy Brown, I had Phil Beretti. I was just always over. I was just a light guy, not putting any medals on myself. I was just an earner. You didn't hear me on a documentary. I didn't kill a fucking million people. I didn't kill anybody. You know what I mean? I just did my thing, fucking earned. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to kick up. I wanted to be a captain because I knew that I could, because I had it in my bloodlines. This is what I wanted. If you would have told me back then, what would you rather do? Be president or be a captain? I would have told you I would have rather been a captain.
I believe
That's how crazy it was. You know what I mean? That's how sick it was. So, and the truth of the matter is that I just found a way to live my life legitimately now, but do the same shit because I still lend money out. That's what I do now. I'm a hard money lender. That's what I do. People want to, you could Google me. You know what I mean? It's on you come with a title. You got some jewelry. I can't pawn any money on jewelry, but I could buy it from you. You come in with a title, I give you a loan on your car. You get into an accident, we could do the car. We could fix the car. You know what I mean? You want some pizza? We got a pizzeria. But now I just find it legitimately because when I came home, I was like, fuck, what do I do? You know what I mean? I had a 9th grade education, just fucking like, I was like, and then everybody was gone. So what happened was I wind up, I'm just fucking babbling over here. So anybody that's watching, I'm going to bounce all over the place. I'm just going to tell you stories.
No, go right ahead.
So I come home and we still had the garbage trucks. And there was a couple of older guys that were in Bay Ridge in Brooklyn. Big fucking, I mentioned this before, big weed dealers, big fucking wholesalers. So they wanted to, they were like, Mike, you're in the garbage business. You know what I mean? This is when Giuliani was just taking over all the big guys. All the big guys they were taking over. And I wound up doing a little thing with this armed robbery at Scores. We got to a fight with a guy in front of Scores with Handsome Jack's nephew. I wound up fucking smacking the guy. Told him, if you want your watch back, come to Staten Island. He really did come back to Staten Island, but he came back with the fucking cops. So You know what I mean? And that was another thing about Mikey, because the guy picked me up out of a fucking lineup because at that time I wound up using my father's fucking license to go to Life Quality BMW and bought this fucking white 528. And at that time, there was only 2 of them in Staten Island. So they did a search. They looked at my father. They looked at his siblings. I'm not his siblings, his fucking kids. And they were like, it wasn't my brother. My brother was this fucking big. So I looked just like my father. So anyway, I go to these guys and I'm like, listen, let's fucking go and let's fucking buy these garbage trucks. They had big money, these guys, big money. We buy a couple of garbage trucks. We're in the business. The kid Joey tells me, Joey 101, because he lived right, they call him Joey 101 because he lived right behind the place, the bar 101. It was on 101st Street. So Joey used to say, listen, I'm around Frankie. You're not around fucking Phil no more. You're not around Bobby Brown anymore. So, you know what I mean? I'm around Frankie. I'm going to introduce you. So I'm like, you know what? At that time, it was almost like I was a free agent. Came home, couldn't find Big Louie anywhere. Fucking Georgie wasn't even around. That he was sick at the time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? All right. So that's when I used to see Billy Jr. over at Bruno's, because I still had the 900 numbers. We were doing the weed thing, but I was buying it from them. And then we opened up the sanitation business. So I'm breaking Joey off, because he's like, every Thursday we got to break Frankie off. And it ranged anywhere from 2,500 to 5,000. I was kicking him. And every time I see Frankie, he wouldn't say a fucking word to me. He wouldn't say 2 words to me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what the fuck is going on over here with this guy? You know what I mean? This fucking guy doesn't even fucking acknowledge me. So after a few times, I'm like, fuck this. You know what I mean? There's something going on with this kid Joey. So my friend Anthony that was with me, I said, listen, I got to get in touch with Frankie. But you couldn't get in touch with Frankie. There's one thing about Frankie. Frankie had a ton of money. And it wasn't about the mob. He had nothing to do with that. Frankie got into an accident. If you ever see a picture of Frankie, he's got fucking veneers. He made me get veneers. Like, I was not, he didn't make me get them, but I looked at his fucking veneers. I'm like, look at this guy's mouth.
Yeah. That's
You know
how
what I
I
mean?
feel when I see Bill smile. Yeah.
He's like this. I'm like, fuck, man. Fucking, I was like, Frank, how the fuck your teeth get like that? He's like, they're veneers. So I said, get me, you know anybody that knows fucking Frankie? I got to get in touch with him. Because fucking Frankie lived in a God-gated community, and you know what I mean? He was all over the place. So he's like, listen, meet me on Avenue U at Joe's Bar and Grill. I'm going to introduce you to Frankie Lino, Curly. So I go to Avenue U, and I do the right thing. I bring a Gino with me. So I go in there. They have the best rice balls, by the way. So I go in there. I go see him. I break him off 1,000. He was a chunky guy. He looked like a bell. You know what I mean? He's skinny on the top, big fucking fat guy in the bottom. And he was with this other guy, Lombardo, or whoever it was, his right-hand man, Gene Lombardo, I think it was. So I talked to him. I'm like, listen, I need to get a message to Frankie, you know, this, that, and the other thing. So he's like, all right, give me a number. I get it to him. And then that's when a couple of days later, Frankie reached out to me. And we met up at Frankie First and Goal. And he's like, what's your concerns? You know, I mean, I'm like, he's like, I'd rather you go through Joey. You know, I'm like, but I says, I think there's something wrong here. I said, you don't even say hello. I says, somebody that's earning you this kind of money, you don't even say hello. He's like, what are you talking about, earning money? He's like, I don't get any money from you. I'm like, you don't get any fucking money from me. I'm like, you out of your fucking mind? I said, fucking anywhere for 2,500 to fucking 5,000 a week. So he's like, so my friend Anthony said, he's like, listen, I'm telling you, the kid's fucking, that's what he's doing. He's fucking giving Joey the money. He's like, all right, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. He says, next week, whatever it was, you're gonna meet me at First and Goal. Because that's where he always used to meet Billy's father over there, which is the place on 18th Avenue. He goes, I'm gonna tell Joey to meet me there. I'm gonna have Joey meet me there first, and then you come in, and I'm gonna give you a hug when you come in. Right?
Yeah.
So that now Joey doesn't know, right? Now Mikey Scars was with him too, because now this is before Mikey was a captain. So I go over there, fucking Joey, I see his car parked out in fucking front. I pull up, I go in, fucking Frankie's like, Mike, what are you doing? Oh, fuck, man, how you doing, buddy? What's going on? I give fucking Frankie an envelope. So Joey's like this. Now, what the fuck? What's going on right now?
Yeah.
So now, I made a mistake, though. I brought a pistol to the meeting. So now, he's like, Joey, let me ask you a question. What does Mike give you every week? He's like, I don't know. Gives me a few dollars, right? So I fucking take the gun out. I fucking smack him with the gun. Fucking that was it. Mikey, fucking Frankie, little Joey D'Angelo was there. I got in so much fucking trouble. I wound up having to fucking just pay another fucking $5,000 just because to penalize me, because at that time I didn't know. You're never supposed to bring a fucking gun to a meeting when there's many guys there. Yeah. So anyway, he tells the kid Joey, he's like, so he's been giving you, he's like, you know, he fucking grilled him. They kept grilling him. They brought him downstairs. Finally, he tells him, you know, this is what it was. Mike was giving it to me. He's like, I don't know exactly what it was. So that was it. They chased the kid away. They said, Mike, now this kid had a lot of money. This kid fucking had a lot of money on the fucking street. He had a lot of people that owed him money fucking for the weed. Frankie was trying to distance himself from the weed. You know what I mean? Because he was definitely fucking wanted the money, but he wanted to distance himself from it. You know what I mean? In case anybody, you know what I mean? Because Frankie had tons of money. He got like $4 million from the accident. He was in a car accident. That's why he had to put on fucking new teeth. So, the guy really didn't even need to be in the life. So right then and there, he says, listen, Mike's taking over everything that you're doing. You're out. I didn't think that we should have did that because I knew that the fucking kid was going to fucking probably flip. If given the chance, he was probably going to flip. Lo and behold, a couple fucking weeks later, the kid fucking flips because they sent one of the, I think it was Russell Farisi, I'm not even sure, or Anthony, whatever, to go fucking talk to this guy. Joey was there. They shot him in the ass. Fucking guy fucking wound up dying. It was a fucking homicide. Just for fucking going to talk to the guy. So now, Frankie, now I'm a stop earner. Frankie says, listen, collect whatever the kid's got on the street. I say kid a lot. He's not a kid. He was like 15 years older than me. Collect whatever he's got on the street. You bring me half of it. I'm going to give half to my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law's becoming the captain. Now, this is when things were going fucking erupt. Like fucking, This is when Mikey just became captain. All right? Because Mikey had no claim to fame. He really had no claim to fucking fame. You didn't hear about any big fucking scores, any big ideas that he had. You know what I mean? What was it? He had a trucking company called Dan Rowe Trucking. He even fucked that up. That he was supposed to put the dirt on top of the Staten Island landfill. Every fucking certain amount of feet of garbage, you had to put a certain amount of feet of dirt. So you see the trucks on the Staten Island Expressway, Dan Rowe Trucking. That was his thing. But they didn't even fucking put the dirt. How fucking greedy you got to get? They didn't even put the dirt. You get paid all this money, you didn't even put the fucking dirt on there, right? So he built this fucking big house on Staten Island. But so now I'm opening up these little chop shops, these little fucking boiler rooms all over the place. I had one on 3rd Avenue over Vinny Rizzuto's oil business. I had it on top over there, rented that out. I had one on Bay Parkway. I think it was like 67th Street, right next to the McDonald's. This guy had a DJ place. It was called Hot Fudge Productions. He went through the Witness Protection Program. It was a big place. You can go in there, bring your mixer, or he had the mix. I think he had the mixers. You go in there with soundproof, just like you do. You know what I mean? With the, with the mixers and all that, and you get your shit. And if they wanted to get like the routine going, and back then it was big DJing. Everything, everything was fucking, in Bay Ridge and all of that with the clubs and all of that. So he wasn't doing too good. So I said, listen, you know what? I'll give you a couple $1,000 a month. I'll take this over there. The windows are already tinted. I'm going to put some kids up over there. Had the phone company put a phone bank in, and we're off to the races. So I'm dealing with this Greek kid. I get sent for. This is when Mikey became a captain. He was with Big Louie before that. He becomes a captain, and then that's when he went with Junior. Frankie was just on the verge of becoming a captain. He went with Big Louie Valerio on 17th Avenue. Little Joey and Frankie were inseparable. Okay, you couldn't separate those two. So I get called down to this on 18th Avenue, Cafe Bella or Roma, or something, whatever it was. I got a bad memory. So I'm like, fuck it, you can't not go, right? So I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna bring a pistol this fucking time. You know what I mean? So this, it's not gonna cost me another fucking couple $1,000. So so this kid's name was Angelo. we were very tight. So we go in. He's like, "Come on, we're gonna go in the back." It was right out of a fucking movie. I swear to God. So I go in the back. I sit down. They're like, "What do you want?" I said, "Give me a double. Give me a double espresso." So I'm sitting here. The door's behind me. The kid fucking Angelo is fucking over here, the scumbag. And fucking all of a sudden, Joey D. You guys know about Joey D'Angelo? It's a big kid. We used to play hockey together. He had a big fucking tattoo over here with a lock. You know what I mean? It looked like a lock. There was a lock chain that, to say like, a mortar. So he sits down right in front of me like this across the table. And he says, Mikey says, "You're with us now." So I'm like, I don't even know what's going on, because the last time I just fucking we just fucking, you were with Frankie, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, but I said, what about Frankie? And he's like, Mikey says you're over here now. I said, all right. I said, it don't matter to me where the fuck I am. You know what I mean? Whatever it is. Okay. So I said whatever I got to say to fucking get the fuck out. I'm in the back of the fucking thing over there. I'm not stupid either. You know what I mean? You could be fucking Hercules. I'm not going to get fucking, you know what I mean? You got to say whatever you want to say, because at that time they were fucking whacking people for whatever. You know what I mean? So I'm like, we just played hockey together. This guy's sitting in front of me, like fucking telling me you're with me now. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I already fucking knew that that wasn't going to happen. Even if I wanted to be with him, just because of the way he talked with me, fuck that. I'm not going to be with him. You know what I mean? That's not going to happen. You know what I mean? So I go see fucking Frankie later on. Frankie's fucking laughing. So I'm like, what the fuck is so funny? You know, he's like, my fucking brother-in-law just got fucking bumped up. He's with Junior, and he's trying to take all the earnings and all of that. So lo and behold, I'm like, I'm partners with this kid on this one fucking boiler room on Bay Parkway. I'm like, you know what? You can fucking have it. You know what I mean? I got 4 more. This thing, you know what I mean? Ain't even worked it now. I don't want to work with this fucking kid. So Frankie's like, no, fuck that. We're not fucking bowing down to my brother-in-law. Fuck that. They hated each other at the time.
Yeah.
So, all right. He's like, tomorrow you go there, give the kid a beating. He said, the Greek kid, give him a fucking beat. Right? So I don't give a fuck. He tells me that, I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? So now I already know fucking Frankie's getting ready to become a captain. But this is right before they were going to propose me. You know what I mean? I was already, right? I already know it. Frankie was fucking, that's the guy I wanted to be with. Frankie was a classy fucking dude. So I go the next day, walk up to the fucking place. The fucking kid's big fucking big kid. But he was a dopey bastard. He was like fucking like a fucking Winnie the Pooh, you know? He was like fucking big, but fucking stupid. Right? I gave this guy a fucking slap that I fucking slapped his fucking glasses off his fucking face. He goes fucking running back to fucking, he was dating some girl, fucking, her father was around Mikey or whatever the fucking case may be. So I call fucking Frank. I'm like, listen, just fucking slap the kid. So you're probably going to get a fucking phone call or whatever the case may be. So Joey D'Angelo's calling me up. Who the fuck? I'm like, Joe, you make it seem like I slapped you. You know what I mean? Like fucking this kid, he got no stripes on him. What the fuck is that? He's got no fucking stripes. So then fucking Frankie made me start fucking with fucking Mikey's guys. Okay? Now he's trying to make me fuck with a couple of the guys. We go to fucking Page Diner, because that's where they all used to meet. There was a kid, fuck is his name? What the fuck was his name? Joey. I forgot what his name. This kid Joey. So we go to Page fucking Diner another fucking time. We go over there. Frankie's there now. I give this fucking kid another fucking crack. So now fucking Mikey's really fucking hating fucking Frankie at this fucking time, right? Because I didn't give a fuck. There was no, Frankie was like, said, do it. We're going to do it. Because at the end of the day, Frankie was the more powerful guy. Frankie's whole fucking family, the Chicos, you know what I mean? Joe Butter, you know what I mean? All of those fucking guys. That's what fucking Frankie's family was. But, talking to Mikey right now, I'm the type of guy, like I said, I really didn't want to talk bad about anybody, but, trying to talk to him and him coming off to me like that. And I'm like, he's like, great content, kid. Try another one. I'm like, this fucking guy. And there's one thing about him. Like, I don't give a fuck.
That's what he said?
Yeah, great content, kid. So I'm like,
What the fuck?
kid.
Thank you, Cannon. Sorry,
Right?
bro.
So I'm like, kid, this fucking guy, like, and I'll be honest with you, he had a picture up. I was trying to see where the fucking picture was, fucking with RJ. They was standing there. He had his fucking, his fucking shirt on. He looked, his fucking drink, and I'm trying to figure out where the fuck this guy was because I wanted to fucking go. I'm not listen to me. I need the feds that are listening. Not trying to beat the guy up. Not trying to fucking threaten anybody. There's nothing wrong with scaring somebody though, because I can tell you right now, if I walk to a restaurant, he's there, he's gonna shit his fucking pants, not because of any other reason, but I'm a very fucking ballsy fucking upfront kid. I'm gonna tell you what, not even a kid. I'm a 50-year-old man. I'm gonna tell you how I fucking feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, understandable.
But yeah, Mikey was no fucking. He was no fucking. And Mikey, if you're listening right now, you should apologize for fucking what you said to me because, there is going to be a day. There'll be a fucking day that I'm going to run into you. I've let a few fucking people, I've seen out in Vegas because Vegas is a very small place, a very, very fucking small place. So anytime anybody really comes into town, it doesn't stay a secret for fucking, very long. But yeah, so that's,
well, I got to read this. Black Handprint Mafia, which is RJ. He just left this comment. He said, Mr. DiBella, myself nor Michael has a problem with you, bro. I can assure you there is just some confusion of intent in the comments. Michael intends no harm, attack on anyone. And then he said, FBS, please give Mr. DiBella my phone number. Take care, gentlemen. Enjoy the show. Be well.
You know what, RJ? That was very nice of you. That was the way you approached that. I appreciate that. Because if there was no ill intention, then I will accept that. But the same way that you said that you were hanging around with Mikey and you seen the gangster come out of him, that's how it gets with me when I feel like somebody's disrespecting me. Because I only talk about this stuff is because it's almost like therapy for me. When I came home, I lost all my friends. You see, like Jimmy, I'm not even gonna me and Jimmy had our thing. I don't even care. You know what I mean? Jimmy, I'm gonna tell you, bro, I wish you have the best success. I wish you make $1 million. I really do. Because I never came on this mob, whatever you call it. I'm not even good. Was it genre, whatever it is, to beef with anybody. It was just something that people that I would see. And I'd be like, holy shit, I haven't seen these guys in 30 fucking years, 20 years. Because you went from being around everybody to being around nobody. Like, I'm talking about not, like seeing people and then they were gone. Like, I don't think anybody understands how that really is. Like, all of a sudden, 70% of the people that you fucking, like, were your, like, best friends, like, friends that were your social circle, all of a sudden, are gone. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then like my wife now, she, her friends get a kick out of me because, I tell them stories and stuff like that. But it's like, it was a whole new world. It was a whole new world, like, because everybody was gone. There was nobody. So when I start seeing your show and I see, the way like you conduct yourself and shit like that. And I want to address Convict Inc. real quick.
All right, let me just shout out Cannon. Yeah. Thank you very much. He sent $99.99 and $49.99. I appreciate you, Cannon, and I feel like that's your way of telling me that you want me to do more mob content. So thank you, bro. I appreciate you. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry, bro.
I got next question. Steve Cutler, a lawyer? Is that the lawyer?
No.
He's not the lawyer, right? There was a guy Cutler who was a lawyer, but it's been a long time.
Oh no, that's Bruce Cutler.
No, there was somebody else. There was another one that we used to use, Cutler.
Oh, I'm not sure.
But so I never wanted to come on to bash anybody. It was just one of those things where I really didn't even care if you ratted or you didn't rat. You know what I mean? That's your thing. And I'm doing all right. You know what I mean? I'm doing me. I'm doing good. You know what I mean? So this was just me. You could fucking turn around. Even the fucking people, there's only one fucking guy that he's dead now and he should fucking die again. was fucking Anthony Capo. I don't know if anybody ever heard of that. That was fucking, he was in Staten Island. He was with the Frankie fucking makes me do a fucking joint venture with this kid to open up not even a kid, a guy in Sand Lane in Staten Island. So you ever hear of Anthony Capo?
Yes.
So he's like, Mike, I got the deal, but I don't have the guys. So he's like, can you get a place? So now I'm figuring, you know what? My soon-to-be wife, her uncle's Jimmy Gallo, and that's part of the crew. Now, if anybody knows anything about Jimmy Gallo, half of these guys wearing a pimple on his ass. Let me just tell you that.
Of course.
Okay? Have you ever heard of Jimmy Gallo?
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
The guy who fucking went to Staten Island. What was the guy, Weinstein? Says your father home. Have you ever heard of Jimmy Gallo?
Sorry about that, bro.
Right?
Go ahead.
And the fucking father comes to the door and he fucking pops him in the head. You know what I mean? Like fucking just ruthless. So I speak to Jimmy. I'm like, listen, I don't know this guy, Capo. He's like, nah, don't worry about it. You know what I mean? He's with me. You know, he's all right. So he winds up handing these cell phones out. This guy was the poorest fucking wise guy. He was like a Lefty Ruggiero, Anthony Capo. The poorest fucking guy you would ever want. I felt fucking, oh yeah, who's that? Go back. What'd he say? Remy stabbed Remy in the eye with a fork. Who just said that?
Frank Fortolino.
I feel Frank. How do you know about that? That was in the club off of Sand Lane and for Highland Boulevard. What was it? That's the Big Angie's old place.
Frank was a part of the Giannini crew.
Giannini. But what was the place? Because I remember that because I was there. That was a huge fucking sit down because they wound up breaking the windows and everything. That was Fat Georgie from Top Tomatoes place before Big Ange had it. We used to go in there at nighttime. It was an after hours because you had Scarlets on the block. They used to close the windows. But yeah, I remember that. Remy was a good dude.
Yeah, he said he was in jail with Remy.
Yeah, Remy was a good dude. He was a big fucking guy. Remy was a big dude. But he was a fucking dumb fuck. You know what I mean? So he was a big dude, but not very smart. That was one of the guys where you would just send to collect money. I mean, you put him on the corner with a cup, he couldn't fucking make 10 cents. But a good dude. So yeah. That's funny you remember that because that fucking time there was a big fucking beef. And I remember being like, oh, what the fuck is going on? And that's this, So anyway, Capo starts handing out fucking cell phones. Now everybody knows that fucking the cell phones the feds gave him to fucking hand out. So there's a few times Vinny Ocean would come down and they had the deal. It was like some trucking company. So, and they would get the checks to go to them. And then we had the Russians that would cash the checks, but they were handling that end. I was handling the upfront money and the whole shit. So it got up to about 660,000 that they owed us. So I'm like, fucking Frank, Frank, what the fuck is going on? Something's got to trickle down over here. Like, you know what I mean? All this fucking money we're laying out. So he's like, Mike, the guy's in the hospital. Anthony Capo always had bad diabetes, but he wasn't overweight or anything like that. He had bad diabetes. I'm trying to fix my fucking out of it. So I'm like, all right, we'll wait. You know what I mean? Wait for the guy. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So now I fucking go back and I go to Jimmy, my fucking soon-to-be uncle. And I'm like, Jimmy, can you fucking, that Drunken Monkey was in Miami, I believe. But it was Nocturnals in Staten Island. And then it was Club Grasmere before that when Big Georgie had it. And so long story short, I remember getting fucking cracked by fucking Jimmy Gallo because we were at a wedding in Long Island. And I'm like, we all wind up getting picked up a week before that. They all came. They went to my mother's house looking for me, but my attorney, Paul Lamont, said, listen, you don't have to come looking for the guy because they left the search warrant. They went and did whatever. We'll surrender him, if you need it. So they came and says, yeah, all right, they need to come in. So when we're sitting in the pen, everybody was there except for Anthony Capo. So I was supposed to get out on $25,000 bail. I gave my sister $25,000. That didn't happen. It wound up being 150. So I had to stay in fucking the tombs for fucking 2 months because every time I came up with the money, they can't say it was coming from the fruit of the crime. So anyway, long story short, I got an aunt that came in. She had some money, so she inherited. We get out. So when I get out and I go to this fucking wedding, I'm like, Jimmy, Capo's the only fucking guy that wasn't there. He's got to be a rat. Next thing I know, boom, get fucking cracked. Don't ever fucking say that. Jimmy was a man's man. But, you know, I had to take it. You know what I mean? I had to fucking take it. So now I got him thinking. You know what I mean? I got him thinking right now. I'm like, listen, I'll tell you what. Now, Frankie just got picked up for some other shit. I need the 600 grand. So I'm like, listen, get the fucking half of it. You know what I mean? Take the other fucking half. Give me half of it. Long story short, next thing you know, you don't find the anti-capo around anymore. Yeah, that's scumbag. So, but long story short, he fucking ratted. That's the guy who fucking put us all away, but he fucking died in jail, the scumbag. But yeah, he was, you know, listen, you know what? My old man used to tell me, just because you die, if I didn't like you when you were alive, that doesn't mean that you're an angel when you're dead. You know what I mean? So I know that people are not going to agree with me, but I'm going to be real as I can be.
Oh, no, absolutely. You should be.
You can die 3 times and I wouldn't give a shit. My brother's the same fucking way. My brother fucking ratted on me. My brother was a custodian at the high school of telecommunications on the 67th and 4th, and he was part of that because you couldn't. A lot of these fucking FBI and people think that they're fucking. Most of them are really intelligent. They're not. They're really not. Okay, because my brother's this big. I'm fucking like 220 pounds. They're sitting on my mother's house because, you know, I never changed my license. My license was in Staten Island. I was living on Joey from Antiquities. I don't know if everybody ever remembers Joey from Antiquities. He had the bar on 5th Avenue, I want to say 89th Street. Big Coke bar. He told me, Mike, I got this apartment on 74th and 15th. So I fucking rented it from him. I was over there, but they were waiting at my mother's house. You know, they're looking. So my brother came there to get a ladder or something like that. Fucking poor fucking bastards on the fucking floor, fucking handcuffed. They thought he was me. I don't know how they thought that, but so my brother was stealing computers from the school every time because he was a custodian. I don't know if anybody knows what the custodians. They run all the schools. They take supplies from, and everything. So they wind up having that on him. And fucking later on, when I read my discovery, fucking cocksucker was part of the fucking thing where he fucking was, every time he come talk to me, Mike, I need to borrow some money. I know you're doing this, but he was part of he was part of it too. But my grandfather hated him too anyway. So he was the kind of fucking guy that would go, you know who my grandfather is? That was the biggest pet peeve that you could ever fucking do. I was always taught that anybody ever says, you know who I am or who my father is, I'm fucking cracking you. Before you even come out your fucking mouth, I'm cracking you. And if anybody ever said anything, somebody said on the show once that they went around, they used to shaking drug dealers down. They asked them, who you with? Right? I have a hard time believing that if somebody came to me and they were shaking me down, they said, who you with? I'm not telling you who I'm with. You know what I mean? You could beat the fuck out of me, do whatever. I'm not telling you who I'm with because that's going to get you fucking whacked. Because especially if I'm selling drugs, how do I know who you are? How do I know who you are? An undercover or whatever. I'm going to tell you I'm with so-and-so. And then now they got that, So never fucking say who you with or never ask who you fucking with. If you're with somebody and you are who you are, then it's just going to come out. Yeah. But Mikey, I'm glad that he reached out and, it just, if there was no harm meant in the comments, then there was no harm meant in the comments. But
no, and I'll gladly get you in touch with RJ. You know what I mean? RJ is a good dude, bro. You know what I mean? I'm not a big fan of Mikey's story,
about him.
I love RJ.
I had my whole intentions was never, ever, ever to disrespect anybody. It was all about if anybody can understand that what's been in the life that been in. It's just nice to talk to people. I have friends that I haven't talked to in 30 years because they went in the witness protection program. And I tell you the truth from my heart, right? From my heart, that I would forgive them and go back to, I would sit down and have a drink with them and just talk about the days before we all became street fucking guys. You know what I mean? Before we became street guys. That's the funny shit, that I would want. I mean, we were still fucking hoodlums running around doing this, doing that. But before we got into the whole fucking mob shit, That's the shit that I want to remember. Like going to the fucking clubs, you getting into fights, you know what I mean? Going out to the diner afterwards and eating, you know, and shit like that. And, you know, just the funny shit. Going to Atlantic City. We used to, well, every time we used to go to Atlantic City, we used to bring a Shylock with us. There was a kid.
Yeah. Oh, really?
He used to fucking, for Big Ange. Big Ange had a big book on the street. So this kid, I'm not going to say his name, but this chubby kid, he used to love to gamble. So we used to say, come on, we're going to Atlantic City. And he'd be like, yeah, we're going to go. Let's go. Come on. We only bring him because we knew we had about fucking 40 racks on him if we needed something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
He
That's
was like,
exactly what I was thinking when you said it. Yeah.
Right? He was like a mobile ATM machine, right?
Yeah, it's like bringing a bank with you to the fucking casino. Yeah.
So I'll tell you another funny story. If you don't mind me just going off, you know.
No. Can I do something real quick?
Do your thing.
No, there's something I think would be interesting, and you know me, I'll forget. I've been wanting to show people this, but I wanted to wait till you're on, if it's okay with you. That picture you sent me, the group of men with your grandfather.
Yeah. Throw it on.
Can I put that up and you could talk about it a little bit?
Of course.
I think you guys will find this interesting because this is never before seen.
This,
I believe, this is from your mother's album, right?
It's from my uncle, my father's brother. He's still alive. My uncle Sonny. He's still alive.
All right, check this out, guys.
98.
This, when I saw this, this is classic mob shit right here. Look at that.
Right in the middle, the center guy, right?
Yeah.
That's my grandfather. That's all the way, the guy behind Frank Sinatra. Because I asked my uncle, I'm like, I didn't know Sinatra was that tall. And he's like, he's not. He says, your grandfather had him standing on a milk crate because he was so, and he's like,
oh, really?
Yeah, he's standing on milk. He's not that tall. You know what I mean? Shit. So he's standing on a milk crate, and the guy behind him is Mush, Andrew Mush, and Russo. And then next to that is Bill Buffalino. That's the guy they made that movie about. The what was that?
Irishman.
Movie? The Irishman. Yeah, it's Buffalino. And I don't know who the guy. I think that's Joe Waverly to the on his left. I'm not sure who the other two guys are. But yeah, you see how old school that is? I mean, that's old school right there. So
yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's a picture right there, boy.
Yeah, it is. I just wanted to put that up for everyone because you sent me that a while ago. Yeah. And the only other person I actually shared it with, I believe, was Common Sense. You know what I mean? That's a hell of a picture, one of a kind, bro. So I didn't want to. Go ahead.
Anything I sent to you, Chris, you could put on there. I don't have, I have no problem with that. Absolutely no problem. This is like an out for me because I deal, being out in Vegas. I do have a couple old timers that just came home and they're retired right now. We meet and we have dinner and stuff like that. But I do miss my friends that and I do I do miss the life in that way where not the life of hurting people and stuff like that. Just because. Listen, my wife tries to teach me how to talk the right way, believe it or not. Nothing, anything. The whole she's downstairs. She's, she gets a kick out of me the way that I laugh, So it's like because we pronounce things differently. We don't say, and like when we go to Italian restaurants, I'm like, could I have mozzarella? And then they're like, what? And then they were like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't. I'm like, listen to me. Don't be sorry because I'm saying it wrong. You're not. You're saying it right. You're saying it right. Yeah. Even when I had my pizzeria, people would walk in and they would like, can I have an extra side of marinara? And I'm like, I used to, marinara. There you go. Marinara. That's what it is. Marinara.
Yeah. Shanna looks at me like I have 6 heads too, bro. When I say that shit. Yeah, I say Galamad. We'll be out and I'll say Galamad, and I have to say no calamari.
Yeah, but see, I won't say that.
No, I try not to either, but I have no choice sometimes.
Yeah, but your wife is probably like my wife. She's like, say it the right way. What are you doing?
Oh yeah.
Say it the right way. Absolutely. But then then I explain it to them, and they were like, no, we get that. We understand, like just when we used to go to Stillwell Avenue and there was a John's Deli. You go there on Thursdays, you get a turkey, mutts, and gravy. People are like, what the fuck is that? Turkey, mozzarella, and gravy, or roast beef, mutts, and gravy. Those are the kind of shit that I fucking miss, shit like that, going and, doing shit like that. I haven't been back to New York in a lot of years. It's been a lot of years. So,
yeah.
But Any
Oh,
when
bro,
I-
there's all kinds of questions from people. First of all, back to the picture real quick. Somebody mentioned the pistol in Frank Sinatra's waist. That was
Yeah.
your grandfather's, right?
Yeah, he let them. Yeah, they were just they apparently, I was very young, but it was when I used to go see him and like especially at funerals and stuff like that, it was totally different than what you see now. You know what I mean? There was always, that room off to the side. And, a lot of people didn't really know who he was. A lot of people didn't even know who my father was or my uncle was. My cousins were because, I guess they just didn't have it where, like Gotti he just wanted to kill people. You know what I mean? He wanted to rise to the top. You know what I mean? That's what it was. Like my old man worked on the docks. He was a longshoreman. You know what I mean? But as my grandfather being acting boss, he got everybody jobs on the longshoreman. And my mother's still alive right now. And, she lives a very good life. She gets like $8,000 between Social Security and, his pension, So, because that was, he plugged everybody in, so, but I never really, he was a low level guy, you know what I mean? Just a low level. And, you could do some research on him and stuff like that. I mean, he killed who he killed when he had to, but he didn't have the ambition to want to go that fucking, he was very secretive. A lot of those old timers were very secretive. They, they didn't go out flashy shit, they didn't do all of that.
Yeah.
And, but, every time I'd see him, he'd give me a jar of change. You know what I mean? I was asking my mother because I don't know if it was Bay 16th. If anybody on here knows it, it was 86th Street. It might have been Bay 13th where Potamkin Cadillac was. That's where I remember. My mother's got a little old timers right now, so getting a lot of stuff out of her is, it's a little hard right now. But Potamkin Cadillac was right on the corner, and that's where they lived, right over there. And then my aunt and Nettie lived upstairs, and they had the poultry market in Sunset Park where you go there and they cut the fucking chicken's head off and they pluck it and all that shit like that.
Yeah.
So that's where it was. My grandfather was just give me a thing of change. And I used to go to the store when I used to go there, fucking get chips and shit like that from the deli. But yeah, just, any other questions? Anybody else asking anything?
We'll see what anybody asks in the chat. I'm sure there's some questions. You guys can start asking now if you'd like. But I wanted to ask you, I don't think you've really gone into depth on this one yet. But your grandfather was he was Tom DiBella. He was the acting boss of the Columbos for 9 years, I believe.
9 years.
Yeah, with considering your family, your bloodline and all that, how did you end up being with the Gambinos?
Well, what happened was when we moved to Staten Island, on my mother's side, she had 12 brothers and sisters, 11 brothers and sisters. One of them died, and my cousin Jojo and Bobby, they were huge in the construction. And I was just fucking running around, banging around. And my cousin Jojo says, listen, you're either going to go to school or you're going to come work with me. And he was an electrician. And they were partners with Sammy. And so being around that all the time, I said that their shop was on 48th Street and 3rd Avenue. And that's when I told you, that's when I met the girl whose father had the sanitation company, and he took a liking to me, and he's like, see me sweating my ass off every day, going to work and all this other shit. And that's when he plugged me in with Phil and Jimmy Brown. You know what I mean? Plugged me in over there. So from there, I seen those guys, and fucking Phil kind of groomed me. You know what I mean? I don't, if people really dig into Phil Beretti, he kind of groomed me and took me in like his son. He had sons, but they were just legitimate guys. And I was the guy where people used to say like, he had this other guy, Ricky Spiro, that was around him. And he was like his little pit bull. But Phil had to get permission from Jimmy if he wanted to do something. So he had his own little crew within a crew. So he used to use me when things had to get done. And I don't know if the statute of limitations, like I asked you last time about what we talked about, but
yeah.
So
I'm not exactly sure yet. So
yeah, so that stuff, right? Yeah, but these feds know election. But so from that, I just seen the way he used to dress, he used to talk, and I wanted to be like. He very influential, the way he was, and I just and Jimmy Brown, and then and then just so happens that after all of that happened, when I started doing the other stuff with the guy Joey, and he was around Frankie. I just never fucking wanted to be around my father, because my father was the type of guy where my father was a numbers guy, almost like they used to call him like Dunsky's. My father he was like he took bets down at the pier, So, but he wasn't a murderer. My father, I sent you a picture of my father. My father was a fucking maniac. He had big hands. My father was good with his hands. He was a tough guy without a doubt, but he was his own best client. You know what I mean? He'd make 10 grand and spend fucking 12. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he lay off action. So he was an OTB. I don't even remember if people even knew what OTB was. But
Of course, off track betting. Yeah.
So he had another family, the whole shit. And I just didn't want to be, I just felt like at that time, the Columbos were really weak at that time, if that makes any sense, And then I used to see Sammy all the time. And I'm like, that's why I want to, those are the guys, the classy fucking Joe Watts was always in. I used to hang around that where Remy Capo stabbed Remy in the face, Club Grasmere, because that was right in my neighborhood. And Joe Watts would be in there all the time. Tommy Bellotti would be in there all the time. Fat Georgie, Joe Butch, so all those guys are in there. You see these guys dressed to the fucking day, like even when they weren't in suits, they were very classy. Everything, they were clean, always groomed well, and I was just like, and then I seen, and then I used to see the other guys on 72nd and Fort Hamilton, and they just be standing around with a fucking Fila sweatsuit on, and, and that's how they went to dinner, and, and I don't know, I just seen the difference. I'm sure every captain, every crew had different ways, but just from what I seen, I just felt like as if I wanted to be with the Gambinos. I just felt like, they were just a stronger crew. And that's just something that caught my eye with that, And,
No, that makes sense.
If anybody knows Frankie was a good looking dude, and fucking, he dressed very well. Fucking, Joe Watts, all those fucking guys, man, they just fucking made money, and they, you look at them and they would talk without yelling, and they just would get their point across without actually having to come out of character, or threaten you and stuff like that. They had that kind of respect where they talked to you. They were serious guys. You know what I mean? So, and I looked up to that. I'm like, because they didn't have to, like, I'm going to break your fucking legs. And then, like, they talked to you, and then it was like a paper bull. I don't know if you know what that means, like a paper bull. Like, not only should you do it, it's a bull just because it's made out of paper, but next time you're gonna get hit with the fucking real thing. So
yeah.
But yeah, that's how what happened,
But no.
So
That's
I
why I
got,
didn't cut you off.
got another. So you remember what I just told you about Frankie Lino? So let me tell you a funny story about this. So Frankie Lino had this club. I don't know if maybe somebody on the chat could. Called Russo Securities back in the late 90s. Yeah. Nah, I'm not going to talk about that guy.
Yeah, I figured. Batchelder Street here. If you want to, I don't want to cut you off, but if you want to just answer this real quick. Batchelder Street wants to know what your interaction with Sammy the Bull was like.
I've seen Sammy a few times. Not much interaction. Like I said, I was more around, like I said, when Jimmy Brown and Phil Beretti and those guys, I never really went to clubs and hung around the clubs like that. A handful of times I go maybe once a week, I'd go to Big Louie's club on 17th Avenue. But Frankie never wanted me. I'll give you a perfect example. Like the guy Remy, they would want him at the club all the time. Because those are the guys, the goons that they would, not that couldn't handle yourself. I couldn't handle myself, whatever, but they wanted the people out there to make money. They wanted that envelope. At the end of the week, it was about going out there and making money. You didn't have to tell me what to go do. You didn't have to tell me how to make money. I was fucking scheming on whatever the fucking case may be. You know what I mean? I was coming up with ideas, and just like I said, I could have just kept all of that to myself. I really could have. I could have just fucking flew under my father's flag, you know, and just fucking said I was giving him something, but I didn't. You know what I mean? I wanted to go bigger. I wanted to, you know, but I wouldn't have changed anything, you know, but yeah, that's just how that was.
All right. Yeah, no, I got you. Kelly Jean, $10. I don't think Mike wants to talk about him, but thank you very much for the super chat. And yes, Mike is a great guest, without a doubt. I'm sorry, Mike, if you want to go back to the story, Frankie Lino, I apologize.
Oh, yeah. So
the
one time I went to him when I broke him off the 1,000 to get me in touch with Frankie. He starts hearing that I made no fucking, people used to see me. I had a fucking 840, you know, I had a boat in Mill Basin, parked behind who was the guy from the Del Cavanti crew, right behind Dolly's Ices. Jimmy Gallo got me the spot over there. He had a private dock, had a 36-foot cruiser, and he gave me a spot back there without, so I didn't have to, because it was very expensive to dock your boat over there. And I used to take all the weed. I used to have 50, 60 pounds on the fucking boat. That was another story, I tell you. So we're on the fucking, there was a big dock, I had a fucking barbecue there. But so anyway, Frankie Lino, they start seeing that you're earning, you know what I mean? You're fucking making money, because there's not like a lot of people out there, you know, very few fucking guys are earning. So I get sent for to another guy saying, DiBella's got to come see me. And there was a place on Kings Highway. I forgot what club it was. It was a King's Card or something like that. Maybe somebody in the chat knows. But they're like, Frankie Lino wants to see you. I think Gene Lombardo came to come see me. I had a laundromat in Bay Ridge on 72nd and 5th. And I'm like, all right, you know. But so I wind up taking Jimmy Gallo's. I told Frankie. Frankie's like, Frankie's like, get the fuck out of here. Tell him to reach out the right way, but you go see him. You know what I mean? Go see him. And make sure you don't take a gun with you. And then fucking go see him, and then fucking tell him that he's reaching out the wrong way. You know, that you are where you are. So it's all right. So Jimmy Gallo, I was very close with his nephew. They had a big tire shop at Sunset Park. We were like best friends. So he's like, come on, fuck it, I'll go with you. So we went on over there. We go in the back room. He's fucking yelling at me. He's like, who the fuck do you think you are? You come to me for help. And fucking, I'm hearing that you're over there with fucking, you know, with fucking Frankie and this, that. You're over here, and I want fucking money every fucking week and this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, listen, I came to you, all due respect. He's a captain now. At that point, he was a very, very high ranking fucking captain. So I'm like, do I say this right now? Do I really say it? Do I really say what fucking Frankie told me to fucking tell him? You know? So now Joey's telling me, before we went in there, Joey says, you can't bring a gun, but I can bring a gun. Right? So I said, Frankie told me to tell you you're reaching out the wrong way. This fucking guy, he had his guys take me and throw me the fuck out of the fucking place. Fucking, they fucking lumped me up a little bit. Fucking gave me a few shots. You know what I mean? Fucking Gene was in there. Gene was straightened out. I couldn't hit back. You know what I mean? I couldn't fucking fight back and nothing like that. A few fucking shots.
Yeah.
Fucking, I had to go back to Frankie. Frankie's like, what happened? I said, fuck. I told him what the fuck he told me to tell him. You know, I was like, no, fuck. I'm like, no, I know I shouldn't say this to this guy. He's a captain. I should not fucking say this to this fucking guy. But then I wound up running into him at Roller Roaster a couple of months later, and he was like, come here, kid. He's like, I'm sorry what happened to you. I'm like, it's all good. I said, what are you eating over there? What do you got? I said, you want another lemonade? Because I don't know if anybody remembers his lemonades at fucking Roller Roaster. They were the best. So he was fucking drinking a lemonade. I went and got him a lemonade. And fucking, that's it. We became friends after that. He's like, he's like, I thought you were coming to me, because I said, nah, I came to you and I came there the right way. And I didn't actually do something for nothing. I came to you the right way. I said, I needed you to reach out to somebody. I said, if that was the case, if I want to be somebody else, I would have been my own man. You know what I mean? Or my uncle. What am I, but yeah, so that was a funny story with him. That guy.
Nice.
But, believe me, I got lumped up a few fucking times.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. Yeah, I bet.
You got you give lumps, you give lumps.
Yeah. Sometimes both, I'm sure. Shinebox said, did you interact with Anthony Russo from the Columbos?
Anthony Russo a few times at funerals. He wanted me to go over there, but I don't know. They were weak to me. They were weak. It didn't appeal to me. You know what I mean? It was like fucking the ugly girl in the room. You know what I mean? I can't, you know what I mean? I don't know any other way to put it. I just looked at them like they were fucking weak. They were like, you know what I mean? They weren't earners. As far as I was concerned, I mean, we used to fuck with going out with fucking Frankie and fucking, it was like almost like a movie star. You know what I mean? It was going out like we used to go to the strip. I mean, it was like the best. We used to go to this place, Hips, in Staten Island, and it was a strip club. And I mean, you almost couldn't wait till we would meet up there because we'd have the whole fucking place. You know what I mean? It was unbelievable. But I interacted with them, but not in a way where they always wanted me to go over there, but I never would. I mean, I used to see them all. There was a restaurant. I don't know if maybe somebody would probably remember. It was called Two Toms. It was on 3rd Avenue and like 3rd Street. There was no menu, but I used to see the mush down over there a lot. And he used to say, "You're gonna come over here. This is where your blood is, and this, that, and the other thing." But I used to be respectable about it. I'm just, I'm the guy that said, nah, I don't jump fences. You know what I mean? I'm where I am. Love you guys and shit like that. But I'm good where I am. You know what I mean? I did one of those lines, almost like Colodro said when fucking he was at the fucking boxing and they came up. Would you come down and we got seats for you and your father? He's like, nah, I'm good where I am.
Yeah.
We seen that fucking kid too in Zio's. It was a fucking place Zio's, and he used to come in, and we used to fuck with him all the time when we were in Zio's.
Who, Leo or Lilo? Lilo, I'm sorry.
Who's Cologio? What's his?
Yeah, Lilo Brancato. Yeah.
Because
I interviewed him.
Yeah, Robert Vaccaro used to own Zio's, and he owned a garbage company, so we used to go there all the time. That was another time. These fucking after the shit that I used to do, I used to shoot paint guns at their garbage trucks, right? And so when I used to see them at Zio's, because all the garbage guys used to come there, they'd be like, this motherfucker, this fucking kid, I fucking know this fucking kid. Yeah.
Vinny Chicken Cutlet said, do you remember Dennis with Frankie Fapp?
Dennis. What, I know who, I think I remember. Was he with the bagel store in Staten Island?
I don't know.
Sure.
I have to see what they say.
Yeah, we used to go into his register every week.
He used to go into his register every week.
He was a degenerate. We used to have to go there and fucking. If that's the dentist I'm thinking of.
Listen, multiple people have asked. It's a ridiculous question, but have you ever had any run-ins with John A. Light? Of course you haven't, but
no.
Yeah.
Never met those guys. Those are Queens guys. You know what I mean? Those were.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I actually offered to take the guy out to dinner once when he was in Vegas. I was chit-chatting with him, but he's another guy. Like, he wants to, dress like a fucking gangster. I'm very sorry that from what happened to him. I seen something on Facebook. That's nobody should ever have to go through that. And my daughter lives in Tampa right now. I raised my daughters from when they were born until my oldest daughter lives out here. She's a nurse now. But my last year, I made my daughter Chelsea go live with her mom back in Staten Island because they live with me. I was a single dad. She went back to New York, and because we went to court and everything, and the court was like, I'm not going to let them leave a father who loves them. You know what I mean? I got to put people away for $25 that don't pay child support. Here you got somebody who wants to be in their lives, but she's like, fuck that. I want to go back to New York. And So I can't imagine how he's missing his daughters. What I'm trying to get at is that my daughter's she's in Tampa and I don't get to see her as much, and it just breaks my heart that, you know. So my condolences go out to Johnny for that.
Yeah, it's a horrible tragedy. I used to go after A-Light a lot, but I even said at this point, I'm not even gonna say nothing bad about him.
My condolences go out, but he's still a jerk off. You know what I mean? So I'm just,
well, yeah.
You know what I mean? Come on,
No, but I'm not. No, but after that,
I'm not fucking with the guy. If he came out to Vegas tomorrow and he said, "Listen, we're gonna go to dinner," I would just sit there and chop it up with him. You know what I mean? I chop it up with him, see what's up.
I figure I've already said everything I have to say about that guy anyway. So especially after suffering a tragedy like this, I'm not going to say a word about the dude anymore. Honestly, it's a horrible thing. Somebody in our chat just lost a daughter recently too, and it's
Steve, right? Steve, was it Steve?
Yeah,
Cutler?
Steve.
Yeah, my condolences, Steve, on that. I can't imagine. It's a fucked up thing. There's nothing else to say. There's no other way to say that. It's a terrible, terrible, terrible thing. Terrible
it is. Yes. Casey Robinson, thank you. Thank you for everybody who's been signing up for the memberships. I appreciate you. If I didn't shout you all out, it was just because I didn't want to interrupt.
No, tell me to shut the fuck up, man. Tell me to shut up.
Listen, they know me. That's the way. If I'm interviewing somebody or
chatty.
anything, yeah, no, it's all good, bro. Listen, you're what they want to hear. So, listen, somebody asked, and this is probably a question better left for, towards the end of the show, but somebody asked what made you decide to leave that life, basically.
Well,
you left on good standing. I mean, you never flipped or anything.
No, I just
you weren't chased, nothing like that.
No, when I used to come out here with Billy Jr. and those guys back in the day, these guys never left the casino. Me and one of my friends, Freddie, we used to rent a car just to see what Vegas was like. And I bought a condo out here back in 92. I want to say right around 92 for like 60-something thousand. It's unheard of.
Yeah, I can only imagine what it's worth now.
Yeah, and I should have held on to it. I sold it was like 150, but I was like, right now it's like 475. So, but I loved Vegas, and I was just, when I came home, I kept getting, these guys were in the market. I kept getting after Anthony Capo fucking flipped. I wound up doing a little over 2 years in fucking Rikers, and if anybody knows Rikers, that's fucking horrible time. Horrible.
I can only imagine.
I would rather just been fucking went upstate, and but I kept getting superseded into cases that my name was mentioned, even though I wasn't being charged with anything. I was getting superseded into the case, and you'd still get woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning to get your civilian clothes on and put on the bus to go to court, to sit in a fucking bullpen. That's why they call it bullpen therapy. And then fucking get back, and hopefully one of you, because I was in a dorm, like 70 guys, and hopefully, and I worked at the printing press, and hopefully one of your guys saved you something to eat, you know what I mean? But everybody was pretty good like that when they were in there, you know what I mean? So you get back at 9 o'clock, so you miss breakfast, you miss lunch, you miss fucking dinner. So, but when I came home, I wind up, me and Jimmy Gallo's niece, we had a kid, and I had my laundromats. And then I went back into the union doing local 3. There was a few people left, and you kept your mouth shut, whatever. They opened up a door, but I'm not the type of person where somebody would open up a door and then not do the right thing. I opened up the door, and I really did a good job. I took a liking to it. You know what I mean? I really, really loved doing what I was doing. Yes. Yeah. Teresa Marie. Yeah. So she, so I really took a liking to it, and then it took off. I wound up doing some housing projects, like when they were doing the window contracts. A couple of people got the window contracts, and it was low voltage when one of the teachers got killed, because they used to have these annex buildings behind the school, and there was no communication between, like when the schools used to get overpopulated, the school, there was no communication from the annex buildings to the actual school. So whatever teacher was in that annex building she got fucking raped and killed, and she had no way to call for 911 because there was no internet and there was no phones in there. So after that, they gave out contracts to trench from the school to the annex buildings and put low voltage in, and I wound up being blessed with that, and I got that contract, and did a prevail wage, and then and then I just said, you know what? After a while, people were like, what, jail scared you? I'm like, did jail scare me? I said, no, you scared me. All right. Because fucking not jail didn't scare me. You scared me. Okay. So I'm not fucking, there's no fucking way possible that I used to walk past pushing a fucking stroller on 86th Street or on Bath Avenue because I had an apartment right on the corner of Bath and Bay Parkway for a while that, my wife at the time, Jimmy Gallo's niece, father ran the building there. And I mean, where were you going to get an apartment, 3-bedroom for $900? So just to get back on my feet a little bit. And, but I used to fucking walk right past. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I was making more money legitimately doing that. And I'm like, there's no fucking way, because when you're sitting there and you start reading papers and then you're like, fucking, this one flipped and that one flipped and then this one fucking flipped and then that one flipped. And I'm not talking about like guys that weren't made. I'm talking about the made guys. And you're like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And that's what separated like the old timers, like my grandfather, where, you know, they were quiet. You know what I mean? They were quiet. And if you did get in trouble, and that's why like another thing with Bill's father, Wild Bill, he would make sure you were taken care of. There was maybe 3 people that put fucking $50 on my fucking commissary. But I made sure that I went in there. I put like $4,000 in my commissary before I went in, you know, and then you gain like you make like 10 cents an hour when you're in there. You know, I was in the printing press, you did some time, whatever. You make like 10 cents an hour, you know. Yeah. We had but after I came home, I was there for a couple of years, and I says, you know what? I had my condo out there. I sold that. I made a profit. I bought my house, and I'm like, I was in the electrical. I loved it. I loved what I was doing, and I'm a firm believer that if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life, you know. So I says, let's go out to Vegas. Let's move to Vegas because, you know, I mean, everything's electricity. So came out here. I opened up Jersey Electric. It was the name. I went partners with a guy that was out here from Jersey, and then right around 2008, I sold that because the economy crashed, and I had a lot of trucks, and then all these guys that were like handyman electricians that used to do houses. That's like handyman shit. The shit that we used to do like in the high rises in fucking Manhattan. But I sold that, and then I just got into the loan business, and now it's I feel like I'm on the street, but I'm not. Does that make sense? Yeah. You know what I mean? The government, the state regulates you on how much you could charge people. You know, this going through the whole COVID thing kind of fucking fucked us a little bit because we had to put everything on the back burner on the ice. We couldn't repo anybody's car, and then people are like, you're a scumbag. You repo people's cars. Like, listen, we provide a service. You know what I mean? So it's for people who can't go to a bank. You know what I mean? So it's just like fucking the Italians when people needed a quick loan. That's what it was. You know what I mean? So, yeah, but COVID, Sisolak over here, Governor Sisolak made us, for like 8 months, we couldn't collect on any money. So, but yeah. So that's what made me leave the life. And I have a lot of friends that are still back there and, still doing that thing. And they tell me all the time, Mike, how the fuck did you get the balls just to leave? You know, and I tell them, you got to be your own best fucking cheerleader. If you don't believe in it, I'm not the type of person where I need somebody to hold my hand, be like, oh, you're going to jump off this bridge with me? No, I stole my laundry mats, you know. I had one in Queens, those partners at Metro Suds. And I had one on 72nd and 5th. And believe it or not, I was with partners with my cousin Sherry on 61st and 5th. And tell Mikey probably knows because he was at her wedding, Sherry. Sherry married, my cousin Sherry married Sammy's nephew, Buddy. So, JR. RJ, if you I'm sorry, I'm very bad with names. So RJ, if you get back to Mikey, I actually have him dancing on the dance floor. My cousin has it. But that's how I left Staten Island And to be honest with you, I don't really even like going back because it's so expensive to stay at a hotel that me and my wife, I'd rather go to the Bahamas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where are you gonna go? You're gonna go to Manhattan, spend $500-600 a night?
I know, bro.
I'd rather go like where you went, right? Where you went to Florida. I'd rather go sit on the beach.
Yeah.
Somewhere. Why would I want to go visit New York?
Yeah, then you pay that much for a fucking hotel, and then you can't even park at the hotel. You got to pay for a garage, and then you can't move your car whenever you want. Yeah, it's bullshit, bro.
And then it costs you another $30-$100 a day to, you pull the car out, the valet fee and all of that, And I'm not cheap by any means or nothing like that. But if I'm going to spend that kind of money, I mean, even in Staten Island's got like 2 hotels. I don't even know how they got right now, but why would I want to go back there? For what? I used to bring my kids there when they were younger, and they'd be like, Dad, why is there like 5 toothbrushes in that one bathroom, like in a cup? Because out in Vegas, everything's big, and everybody had their own bathroom. So I'm like, everybody uses this bathroom. They were like, no way. I'm like, yeah, that's how I grew up. There was one bathroom, and I'm in my house anyway. There was one bathroom, and they were like, oh my God, like everybody uses that one bathroom. I'm like, yeah, you see how you gotta be grateful for what you have, So, but yeah. So I don't go back as much as I used to.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you, bro. Even the people that are still living there say it's nothing like it used to be.
No.
Batchelder Street wants me to let you know. He said it's not Mush Russo, it's the other Anthony Russo, and not Hootie. So I don't know if you know who he was talking about for sure or not. But
about what was that in the picture?
No. The question about Anthony Russo.
Anthony Russo.
Yeah, there was a question about if you
where was Anthony Russo from? Where was he? I'm terrible with names. I'm good with faces. I'm terrible with names.
Yeah, let's see what they say. Casey Robinson, thank you for becoming a new member, my friend. I wanted to ask you, where did you do your time exactly, and how much time did you do?
All my time, believe it or not, was fucked up. Was in Rikers Island, the Tombs. I wound up doing almost 7 months in the Tombs because fucking they were trying to get me to flip in the fucking Tombs. I mean, they fucking would not let me out for nothing, for anything. And then I went to Rikers Island and then did almost 2 years and then came home for like 6 and went back again for another stock related. Everything was with the stocks except for the one with the armed robbery, the first one. But everything was with Rikers Island. It was fucking terrible, cuz. Terrible. I couldn't wait. I thought I was going to go upstate. You know what I mean? It was fucking terrible. Yeah. But and the best part about it, my brother was a custodian, and I started to see that motherfucker in Rikers because he transferred to Rikers. He used to do. He was an engineer that he left when he left the schools. I used to see him walking around. I wanted to fucking catch another charge just to give him a fucking chop him in his fucking neck. Isn't that fucking crazy that he was working in the fucking prison?
Yeah.
After giving me up on fucking shit, because the fucked up thing was when they took Frankie and everybody and Anthony Capo, they took all the maid guys and the feds. It was a joint venture, and the state took us. So it was a terrible fucking thing, man. Terrible. The prosecutor on the first one, she had me in the fucking Tombs over there. Fucking, I mean, wouldn't even let fucking I couldn't even get clothes up there. I was washing my underwears and I was in a cell, washing my underwears every day, locked in there fucking 23 hours out of the day. It was crazy because they wanted fucking Jimmy Gallo. They wanted a bunch of fucking people, but I wasn't having that. The best part about being locked up in the Tombs when I got out, I was right over there in fucking Chinatown, so I was able to get fucking Chinese food. So, yeah, But like I said, I didn't do a lot of time, and I'm glad I didn't do a lot of time. You know what I mean? Because I don't measure the amount of time that I did as being who I was. I actually think I'm a lot smarter, and I didn't trust a lot of people. And just like Jerry, my boy Jerry there, he was kind of like a one-man soldier himself. So, but I did have my guys that when we needed to get shit done, we'd get together and do what we had to do. But for the most of the time, it was my own creations of what I was doing. It was never me saying, "Oh shit," like somebody giving me something to do. It was always me coming up with what I had to do. It was everything I did was my own scams. Everything I did. So, and I had more fucking guys wanting me to be with them. And for that, I will put a fucking pat on my back, because I just was, and that's what makes me into what I do today. I run 3 successful businesses. We just bought a Greek place, a Greek restaurant, and just because I'm passionate about everything I do, I get laser focused, and I just use my street smarts right now, and I get up. I go to work every day. I'm 50 years old. I'm in the best shape of my life right now. My wife's 32 years old. A lot of people give me shit about that, but I'm happy. My life is good. So
That's good, man. Listen, one thing I noticed about people that used to be in the life, you could always tell the ones that really, like you said, kind of came up with your own things, your own schemes, whatever, because you wind up being successful in your legitimate life too. You know what I mean? After all that. And that's your thing now. Look, you have businesses and shit. You obviously have a mind for business, so it's a good thing.
And I'm not afraid to work. I'm not afraid to work. You know what I mean? My hands, my girl makes me go, I have to wear gloves every day. She's like, "You're not touching me if you don't wear gloves every day." So I own a collision shop, so I'll get in there. You know what I mean? You get shit on your hand. You know what I mean? She's like, "You're not touching me if you don't." I'm not a finger pointer. You know what I mean? I never will. And my guys respect me because I'll get out there with them, and I'll work just as hard. We own a detailing company. I'll get out there and detail a car too. There's no shame in my game. You know what I mean? Because I can't go work in a casino. I can't, I didn't realize this shit that when I took, these lawyers are all scumbags too. All the lawyers, like there was a guy, Lou Diamond. Was it Lou Diamond? Yeah, he was another fucking scumbag, that guy. But they don't give a shit. They want to plea you out. They want to plea you out, and then like not realizing that when they're telling you, you can never be a school teacher, you can never be a lawyer, you can never be a real estate agent, you can never be this, you're like, who the fuck wants to be that? You know what I mean? But then as you get older, you're like, holy shit. Like I live in Vegas and everybody has a gun. Everybody goes fucking out and they go target shooting, they go hunting, they go fucking out to the desert, they shoot. Everybody carries. And I can't even fucking carry a gun. You know what I mean? That's the one thing I do regret, because everybody goes, not that I want to carry a gun, but everybody has guns and they go fucking practicing. You know what I mean? Shit like that. It's like, man, they have the gun show over here and I'm buying a taser. You know what I mean? When they have the gun shows out over here, everybody's fucking buying guns and I'm buying like.
You got to tell me, bro. I've been a felon since I was 19, bro. So
I'm like buying a.
I never got a taste of what it's like to own a gun legally, bro. Never.
But I see everybody and I get jealous because they're like fucking putting fucking scopes on their shit, red lights, and fucking going and they're fucking practicing, and you know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? So, and I'm like getting I try to get into the crossbow and I can't. I mean, not the crossbow, the fucking bow, and all that other shit. I can't do it. I just don't have it.
No, that's no fun. Fuck that. Jesse Roth is hitting on you. She said, I have the best looking guests. Jesse Roth. She's one of our very loyal subscribers. Sweetheart.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you very much.
They want to know if you meant the IBW Local 3.
Yes. Local 3.
Oh, okay. All right, Mikhail won $5, said, thank you, Mike, for sharing your stories with us. Very fascinating, and thank you, FBS, for the platform. Absolutely, bro. And yes, I thank Mike, too. People will be pissed off at me as much as I couldn't care less about talking about this dude, but you were going to bring up something about Convict Inc., and I'm sure everybody's going to want to hear it.
So, well, we straightened that shit out, but the other night when we were on, that was married to Fran. Yes, Jimmy Gallo was married to Fran. Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, Jersey girl.
So I wind up I woke up and it was like 5 text messages, and he's listening right now, and I hope he is listening because You don't fucking play those games with me. You want to threaten me? In these day and age, I have fucking lawyers on retainer, buddy. Okay, you want to tell me you're recording me and this, that, and the other thing and shit like that? That don't fly, because I'll just put my lawyers to work. So he was like, "Oh, all you fucking New York guys, you say you're gonna come on the show, and then you went on fucking FBS's show." And I told everybody, I told everybody that I talked to, I want to come on and I want to have a good time and I want to talk about the old times, and I don't want to be involved in drama. All right, don't want to be involved in drama. You know, last year I had a little scare with almost had a stroke. You know, and I don't want to be bothered with the drama. I would love to come on, fucking bullshit. You know what I mean? Talk about shit. You know, but and I put him in his place. I'm like, and then I actually had to call I actually called you because I was like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? You know what I mean? I'm like, that's really the fucking, you know, and the real reason I started talking to him because a good friend of mine, Benny, is fucking going through him trying to get, you know, this petition signed. And, you know, I take care of Benny every week. You know what I mean? Benny's a good guy. Benny's a really good guy. Hold on one second. Hold on. Hey, says,
this is good stuff, guys. And I want to thank everybody again who sent a super chat or bought a membership. You guys are the best. We were literally talking about this a few hours ago, and I said, bro, nobody's gonna sign up for a membership. But it worked out already. Thank you. All right, go ahead, bro. Sorry.
So you know, so he was trying to get Benny out, and you know, and in the beginning he sounded like a pretty competent dude, and you know, my cousin did some time with him, and then you start hearing these things that come out of his mouth, and I'm just like, I can't associate myself with that. I cannot associate myself with that. So he's like, I'm gonna do a show about how could Chris have you on the show if you're beefing with Jimmy? And the truth of the matter is that there is no beef anymore. Okay, and you are your own person. And not one time have I come on here and talked or tried to attack Jimmy in any way. I don't need to do that. You know what I mean? Bygones are bygones. You know what I mean? Life's too short. And you know what? If Jimmy's ever in Vegas ever again, I'm going to let everything pass, whatever it was. Bro, you want to come down? You bring your girl. I'll take my wife, or whatever the case may be. You FBS, you want to come down? We'll show you around. I'll take you all to dinner. Okay? That's the kind of man that I am. But somebody who calls me and texts me and tells me that, oh, you know, I recorded you talking shit about FBS and Jimmy and shit like that. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I was a little upset about a little situation with me and Jimmy. But I don't linger on shit. And to me, that's like a little bitch. That you got mad because I didn't come on your show.
That's him.
Okay. And you're going to sit there and say, and then I had to educate him that before you go recording me, because I much rather slap you than fucking have my lawyer fucking on it. But I had to educate him, and my lawyer had to educate him that you cannot do that in his state. Okay. Yeah. That's a misdemeanor. So, and I am not about fucking calling cops by any shape or form. But what he did lose, he lost me as a friend. And you know what? Losing me as a friend to me is a fucking big enough loss. Because I would have went on a show. And just fucking chopped it up with him and talked to him. My cousin wanted to talk to him because my cousin did some time with him, you know. But you don't need to fucking come out and fucking say that. There was no reason for that. You could have reached out to me. And the other thing is he's a little flaky, and he knows that. He would call me, and then I would leave him a message, and I wouldn't hear back from him for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Ron and Jerry.
He's always high. But listen, he did a show today. Apparently, somebody sent me a screenshot of the title. You know, something about I screwed Jimmy Calandra over by having you on. I talked to
that's
Jimmy.
what it was. See, that's what he said he was going to do.
Yeah.
And how did you screw Jimmy over? How did you screw Jimmy over? I don't understand. How did you
Bro,
screw
I
Jimmy?
spoke to Jimmy about you a couple of times, and I spoke to him just a few hours ago. Jimmy said he has absolutely no problem with you, and you never said a bad word to me about Jimmy. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's I don't know what he's trying to do, but listen, that side over there, they push him into trying to cause division between me and my friends over here. That's what they do.
They don't have any content.
No.
That's what the problem is. There's no content.
No, they don't.
You have a way about you. I told you the first time ever been called and sit down. Did he get free for his life at the sit down? Bruno. Yeah, that one time that he says, Bruno says, ex Mike, have you ever been called into a sit down and did he fear for his life at the sit down? I was called in a few times. I was called in, but the only time that I was actually a little nervous is when I had to go see Joey D'Angelo, because at that time, he was a little shaky. That guy.
Yeah. Scheinbach said it was Anthony Russo, the rat from the Columbos.
You talking about Hootie? Is that what he's talking about?
No.
I don't even know who Anthony Russo
No,
is.
I think it's time to put that question to bed.
I don't know. I don't know the Queens guys. I'm being honest. I don't know. Downtown Benny, you know what I mean, was my guy downtown. You know what I mean. But I was more on Staten Island, and Brooklyn. You know what I mean. But I didn't. There was so many people that there was even made guys in the same family who didn't even know each other. You know, like Francis said, there was made guys that capos that didn't even know each other. It was just so much, and it wasn't like I said. I wasn't out every night hanging out with everybody. I had a life. You know, I had a life. You go home, you with your girl, you know, and then during the day, that's what you did. And I always had a legitimate business on top of it. And the reason why I made the money I made, because I didn't just leave it to other people to do it. And that's the reason why I didn't do a lot of time, is because I didn't trust people with a lot of shit. So very hands-on, extremely hands-on.
Understood. Somebody asked earlier about as far as you mentioned Franzese, did you ever have any run-ins with Michael or Sonny?
No, Sonny I wasn't ever that high up in that with those guys. I mean, I heard about him. I talked to Mikey a few times because I wanted to know some other stuff about my grandfather. You know what I mean? Because I'm 50. I'm going to be 51. Yeah, Mike would tell me some things, you know, about like the old man and stuff like that. Like he straightened them out and stuff like that. But I never personally sat down with him. But I always admired him because he was a huge earner. He was a huge fucking earner. He was actually probably the biggest earner that ever was.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a possibility.
Not only with the gasoline, but down at the docks, he used to fix holes with the containers. So,
oh really?
Yeah, the containers that used to come off the ships, he used to repair.
Yeah, the shipping containers. Yeah.
So, and you know, they had a ton of money. You know what I mean? That guy's he's still sitting on a ton of money right now.
Oh, without a doubt. Food, is that Food Dye? I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but he wants to know how many of these street guys can actually afford to live lavishly.
Now?
No, I think he meant, you know, the mob guys back then. I don't know. I highly doubt any of them now can.
This was the whole thing. When you became a made guy, you had a certain responsibility. You had a certain amount of associates that were under you. And you had a certain amount of responsibility to your captain. And then once you became captain, whatever the boss set for that family at that time, whether it be $75,000 a month, you had to come up with $75,000 a month. You know, there was a quota that you had to come up with. So that's why everybody wanted you had no choice. That's why the captains always wanted the earners. Because the boss didn't want to hear that shit at the end of the month. They wanted that envelope. You had a fucking, like, you know, Francis will tell you, and that's true shit, that you had to come up with that certain amount every fucking month, especially when you were captain. There was a lot of pressure when you became a captain, a lot of pressure, you know. So, you know, the pressure only escalates. So, yeah, you're going to get you're going to get that prestige, you're going to get that status and all of that. But at the end of the day, it's not a game. You know what I mean? It's not a game at the end of the day. You fucking have to produce. You know, you have to make sure that, you know, your guys are kicking up the right way. You have to make sure that whatever they're doing, that they're fucking kicking up the right way. You know, at the right amount, you know, and a lot of guys, they just fucking want to kick up as little as possible. You know,
yeah, that's why we talked about it on the show before, and I always, you know, brought up that question, like, is it better to just be an associate who's with a made guy rather than actually being a made guy? Because then all that fucking responsibility comes with it.
I tell you the truth, I made more money than half of these fucking guys that were straight.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Right? You know, and you always sit there and you'd say, yeah, you pat him on the back. Yeah, you're the big guy. You're the big guy. Yeah. So, you know, get the fuck out. Then when you go home, you're like fucking counting your fucking money. You know what I mean? But I did want to be that at one time. I really did want to be that at one time. If it came, I definitely wouldn't have turned it down. I mean, it was there. But yeah, no, fucking, there was made guy, especially like a guy like Anthony Capo. I used to buy him lunch. He used to borrow money from me when I used to see him in Staten Island, and he wasn't even part of the crew. You know what I mean? He wasn't even, he was with a totally different fucking family. He's like, don't tell Jimmy that I borrowed money from you. You know, I'm like, this fucking guy. We used to call him down. He had so many people walking away from. There was actually a guy that Fabrizio and a couple other guys had a situation with in jail that was with Anthony Capo. Very fucking capable guy, huge capable guy, and he fucking tried to call this guy in because this guy switched sides and he wound up getting a beating. Fucking Capo, he wound up getting a beating right in the fucking diner because he thought because he was straightened out. Like the Jersey crew was like just a glorified fucking crew, not even a family. They were like a glorified. Yeah. There was a couple of them that made money. Vinny fucking made tons of fucking money. Vinny fucking, you know, he still got tons of money, Vinny. So, but
let's see. I think
better. Look at fucking Benja. Perfect example right there. Perfect example.
Yeah, no shit.
He was gonna lose at a sit down?
No,
right? He wasn't a captain. He wasn't straightened out. He wasn't losing. Fucking making tons of money.
Yeah, that's what matters.
Chris was a fucking maniac. Chris was a fucking maniac. He was good with his hands too. You know, he didn't give a shit. He had the one thing that I was jealous of. The one scam that these guys had was like the fucking hook to get those night deposit boxes. You know what I mean? I was fucking. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I'll tell you. I'll give them the props when the props is there, man. That was a fucking great hook. That was a great, really a hook. You know what I mean? It was fucking. I mean, these guys were just pulling cash out of boxes, like fucking fuck. Couldn't believe it.
You were close with Gerard Bellafiore, right?
No, I hated that fucking guy.
You weren't? Oh, okay.
This is how it happened. Listen, a lot of people don't know that Gerard owned on New Dorp Lane in Staten Island. He had a record store and an ice cream shop. I don't know if you guys do that, but it was on New Dorp Lane. And my first meeting with Gerard was when my friend of mine, he blew up his caddy because he put diesel in it when we were at the fucking garbage yard. So we reached out to Gerard because Gerard was an excellent thief. So he wound up getting a caddy, bringing it over, taking the windshield out, putting a new VIN number in, the whole 9 yards. That's the whole. He had a lot of acne all over his fuck. They used to call him Skeevy. So that was my first fucking. But he was a big kid, you know, and that was my first interaction with him. And then second interaction was when I was dating my kid's mother. We broke up for a little while, and she knew, like, she tried to, you know, get back at me. She was like, fucking Gerard always has nice cars and shit like that. And then she like dated him to cause a tiff, you know what I mean? And then me and him would go at it. And then fucking he stabbed my tires, and I'm like, fucking, you know, you stabbing my tires right now? Really? You know what I mean? the fuck is that? You know. So then, and then I had to go. We had a little fucking sit down. Me, him, and Fabrizio on fucking in Staten Island. Me and Fabrizio, we were very cordial with each other because we were being groomed. Fabrizio's roots went way back. You know, his he went. Fabrizio was that's why he got straightened out. You know, his bloodline, he came from good stock. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was my thing with those guys. But yeah, now like I said, believe me, he dodged that fucking bullet. Believe me, but fucking because she was a fucking nightmare. So trust. But yeah, he passed away, and you know what I mean. Like it was over a girl thing. That was the whole fucking thing. It was over a girl thing. But at the end of the day, like I said, he won with that one.
Yeah.
I mean, I got the girl, but he fucking won. So,
it turns out that way sometimes, bro.
Yeah, she was definitely as crazy as her uncle all the time. Her uncle used to tell me all the time. He had the tire shop down at Sunset Park. He's like, Mike. He's like, you sure? He's like, you sure you want to do this with my niece? You know what I mean? He's like, you two guys got to stop this. He goes, you sure? My niece is fucking nuts. I'm like, fucking, nah, I love her. Yeah, I love her. But, yeah, so Jimmy was a fucking funny guy. Funny fucking guy.
Yeah.
He was,
no, go ahead.
No, he was a funny guy. I heard him fucking tell people there was a time when his nephew was like, we got to go see this guy. This guy was around Georgia the Chico. He's like, take a ride with me. So we go see this kid. He owed Joey some money. And he's like, Mike, do me a favor. Go see this fucking guy and tell him that fucking Jimmy said he wants his fucking money. Do me a favor, right? I went over there, met the kid, gave the kid a little beat, and fucking tell him you got to come up with the money tomorrow. Now, 20 minutes fucking later, fucking Jimmy's fucking calling up. You motherfucker, you used my fucking name. I'm like, fuck, whoa, hold the fuck. I'm like, he's like, get the fuck. Because he had a club in Red Hook. Get the fuck down here right now. I said, fucking Joey, you fucking coming with me, cocksucker. Fucking going with me. So he went over there. He's like, I'm gonna lie, I did it. It's fucking. He's like, you told fucking Bobby the Chico. I mean, Georgia the Chico, fucking that fucking. You didn't give a fuck. I want my money. I'm like, we didn't tell him. We told this guy, but it was one of those fucking funny things, But my friend Joey was like, fucking, no. Okay, I did. I told him to do it,
Yeah.
Like, fuck it. Don't ever fucking do it. We're very good fucking friends. Don't ever fucking do that again. But yeah, so it was a good time.
Yeah. Teresa the baby Marie said, you're Steve's nephew, right? I believe she's talking to you. Or Phil.
No.
No, okay. She might not have even been talking about you, to be honest, or talking to you. I just saw this comment. Scams My Jams said, Chris, I could sit here and listen to Mike tell stories all night. He's awesome.
Thank you so much. Believe me, I have a lot more. I have a lot of other stories. I got that we could talk about. Like I said, as long as we talk about funny stuff, good stuff, I have no problem with it. I have so many other stories to tell, so many other, crazy fucking things to talk about. But anytime you want to have me on, no problem.
Bro, you're welcome anytime, bro. Listen, you've been on, I think, 3 or 4 times now. People love you. I always get positive feedback. Bro, we're on 2 hours here, man. It's
really
midnight. Yeah, 2 hours. It's midnight here. And we have 326 people watching this live, bro.
That's cool. Chris, you're a good guy too. And I want to tell Convict Inc., don't take this personal, man. Just don't do me a favor. Do not make the mistake. Do not make that mistake. There's too much other content. There's too many other things that you can do. Stick with what you know, and you don't need another enemy. You know what I mean? You don't need that. And I don't want to be that. If you want, if you call me up and you want to talk to me, you talk to me, but don't come at me like that, because every action has a reaction. And I don't even want to be Gator Carding. Gator Carding was in Staten Island. The only route that they had, it's the jacket, was Gator Carding was the only one, and Manzo Carding was the only two, and National in Staten Island. They were the only ones that were in Staten Island. They weren't allowed off Staten Island. Angelo Pacione was a fucking, from National Carding. He was a real gangster too. Real gangster. I remember being by his house. Now, I don't know if you guys ever heard of National Carding, Angelo Pacione.
No.
Yeah, do some research on it. He owned National Carding. Big fucking company. But I was by his house as a kid, and he had these cats that used to be in his fucking front yard. And don't get mad at me, people. I was only a kid, but they always said the cats would land on their feet. You know, they always landed on their feet. So we threw this fucking cat in the air, and he didn't land on his feet. And needless to say, Angelo Pacione chased me fucking up the block with a gun. And it was. Yeah,
so you almost whacked the cat.
But we were just fucking around because everybody was like, "Cat, always gonna land on his feet." And I love fucking animals, believe me. You know, I treat my dog as my son. But I was like, I don't know, 10 years old, and fucking we threw the cat in the air, and he landed on his back, but he didn't get hurt. But Angelo fucking loved his cats, and he fucking chased me all the way to fuck home almost. And then my father got beaten for doing that. So, but yeah.
Wow. Well, listen, Mike. I don't want to keep you on all night, bro. You've been on 2 hours. What is it? 9 o'clock where you're at?
Yeah. So it's 9 o'clock over there. Yeah, it's almost 9 o'clock. Almost 9 o'clock.
Well, thank you, man. This was great, bro. You're welcome on any time, man. We could do this whenever you want, bro. And are you gonna be? One last question: are you gonna be doing your own thing or what? As far as YouTube?
No, I was gonna do it, but I'd rather just do stuff like this. It just takes a lot of time because what people don't, and that's why. You know what, Chris? I tell people that you're absolutely right about donating. And it's not really even, it's not even donating. I don't even want to use that word. If you go to the movies, you pay to go to the movies, and I was in the midst of doing my own thing, and it's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work. I commend you for that. It's a lot of work, and I just can't commit myself to that. I just can't.
Yeah, you got a lot of shit going on as it is.
Yeah, and what you do is a lot of work, man. It's a lot that goes into it. So, and we got into it a little bit. Had a studio. My friend's got a studio. He used to do this thing out here called slumming, but they used to go and get the boxes back in the early 90s and have them pay them and feed them and let them beat the shit out of each other. You know what I mean? And put it on fire. And they got in trouble for it. But we were going to do something, and no, it's a lot of work, man. I'd rather just come on your show. I'd rather just come on your show and talk about it, and you do the work. People, you got to donate, man, because this is not easy shit. You know what I mean? The most important thing in life is time, and Chris is taking his time to entertain us, and taking his time, everything, this whole content, everything. Like he had to actually give me a lesson today on actually how to even get on this fucking computer to do this. You know what I mean? So. It's all about the most important thing, and my girl taught me this, my wife, the most important thing you can give anybody is your time. So Chris is giving us his time, and, at 300, how many people you say you have in the chat right now?
Right now, 306.
We got 306, and everybody just put $1 in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would be a nice thing. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that $1, that would be nice. Yeah. You know what I mean? So think of it in that way. And, and a lot of stuff that he does and getting content and stuff like that. So feel free and feel obligated to throw a few dollars here and there. Whatever it is that you can do. And that you can do that. If you're on here and you're watching, throw a few dollars. You know what I mean? Throw a few dollars at it. That's what's going to keep this going. And I would hate to see Chris not do any more mob stuff like that, And my girl was like, you know what, do it, babe. Go on the show. She's downstairs. She's got home from work at 7 o'clock. She's like, this is like an out for you, to talk about stuff, and because she don't want to hear about it. You know what I mean? But so it's a nice thing. It's an out. But donate, people, please. All right.
Thank you. Well, BM just donated $99.99. Thank you, BM. Thank
BM.
you very much, bro.
Thank
So,
you.
all right, Mike, listen, I'll let you go. Thank you for coming on again. This was great. And anytime you want to do this, bro, let me know. Shoot me a text. We'll do it
And
again.
I tell you what we're gonna do. I tell you what we're gonna do. I'm gonna set it up. We're gonna like do like a giveaway or something like that. You're gonna like I'm gonna come up. I come across a lot of things, new TVs and beats, and I come across a lot of stuff, electronics and stuff like that, brand new stuff. So we're gonna, if Chris is all right with it, what we'll do is you should do a show one day, like once a month.
Yeah.
And you should do something where you should do some kind of raffle or something like that. And then I'll send you the fucking thing. Or you
Sounds
give me something like that, and and that's another way to support Chris. And we'll do a raffle.
Good, bro.
How's
that would be great.
All right. Well, all right, people. Thank you for listening to me, and thank you everybody that donated. And I'm hope that you guys like my story. And take care, Chris.
All right, bro.
Thanks, bro.
Yep. Talk to you soon. Have a good night.
You too, buddy.
Fantastic stuff right there. See, now you guys have heard me say that I have no interest in the mob stuff anymore, but this is the type of shit that kind of gets me interested again and makes me kind of have a desire to do more of this stuff. You know what I mean? Because this type of shit is great. It's not like it's just one of us telling you a story or something like that. You're hearing it from somebody who lived it. The guy's got a ton of stories. I didn't even get to a third of the questions. I'm sorry. It's harder than you think to get all the all the questions. But that's good stuff. That type of shit, shows like this make me want to do this more and more often. So luckily we have good people like Billy Catolo Jr. and Mike DiBella who are willing to come on and do this stuff for us. And, I thank them. So thank you again, Mike. This was fantastic. The Truth, $199. Thank you very much, bro. And BM, thank you again for that $99.99. Diego Squires, $4 super sticker. Thank you, Diego. And listen, all you guys who bought memberships tonight, you are the best. I love you for that. I'm shocked. I'm honestly shocked at how many people bought them. And it looks like more people want to, but they're having issues getting to that option. Now, some people said that if you go into where you're going to buy a super chat, like, let me try it myself, actually. Let me see what I can get on my own fucking channel here. Uh-oh, what did I do there? All right, wait a minute. I'm a stupid ass. But you guys already knew this. Hold on. If you go into where you'd buy a super chat, yeah. It says super sticker, super chat membership. I'm doing that on my phone. Otherwise, I think if you close the live chat, under Fat Bald-Sicilian Mob Tube, it says join. You just click on that and join through there. So listen, the more you guys buy memberships, the better. I'd appreciate it very much. And still, if you can donate, I'm grateful for all of your support, as you know. Let me just see. Redheaded Stepchild. I have to say this is better than watching Goodfellas, which is one of my favorite movies. Well, thank you, man. Thank you. Well, really, I owe it all to Mike. But yeah, I agree. When you're actually hearing it from someone like Mike, it is. It is. Definitely. Especially because, like I said, a lot of the stuff we've heard before. It's guys like Mike that really have a lot to say, just like how Jimmy has a ton of stories. It's not the stories we've all heard before. You know what I mean? You've heard everything about the John Gottis and the Vincent the Chins and gas pipes and people like that. But it's different when you have a former associate on here who could tell you his personal stories. Is that true? It's the jacket? Well, that's a shame. That's a shame. I don't even know what to say to that. I'm shocked. Thank you, Brooklyn. Jesse Roth, FPS, that was awesome. This is what we want. Well, listen, I'll try to bring it to you more and more often then. Enough said. Redheaded Stepchild. I read that one. Diego Squires. This is the kind of show that Angel and her flying monkeys wish they could host. I bet they are fuming with envy right now. Well, I'll tell you what. That's the best part about this. we don't even have to care what they're doing right now. You know what I mean? Because we just had a great show here with Mike. It was fantastic. And I'm sure they're over there talking their shit, but it don't matter. You guys just made my night buying a bunch of memberships. You're still donating as we speak. I just had a fantastic show with Mike DiBella. When this is over, I am going to shut it down and go enjoy my time with my beautiful wife. So whatever they're doing over there, yeah, fuck each and every one of them. And we don't have to be concerned with it. Thank you, War. Thank you. Casey Robinson, why I treated Real Talk like a hard-on. He asked too much nosy shit. Well, yeah, maybe he was with them the whole time to begin with. I was kind of curious when he first came on and said he was in that area. But I don't know. He did email me some pretty dirty shit about MREs. I don't know. Joey Dime said, that's real content, people. Yeah, it is. I will say it is. Mob Entertainment Group, good show, FBS. You held an audience just as big as the shows where you roast clowns. Well, yeah, but I got to say, this was all Mike. You know what I mean? I was just extra. This was Mike's show. But yeah, we had a huge audience. That was great, especially for this time of night. Steve Cutler, $4.99. FBS always motherfucker. I had to do it at least once, huh? Always putting in the work. Salute. Thank you, Steve Cutler. Thank you very much, bro. I do my best. Peter Miller, $1.99. Thank you, Peter. Thank you very much. Yeah, this is what happened. Mike texted me earlier and asked if I was going on tonight. And I said, yeah, you want to come on? And he said, I have to learn how to grab the link. You know what I mean? So we did a little dry run around 7 o'clock. You know what I mean? And we got that all worked out. So I did the thumbnail and stuff. And it worked out. Mr. MobTube sent $5 for It's Mustache Pete. Dope show. Thank you, Mustache Pete. Thank you, my man. Shanna said, Christopher, tell them how to become a member. It doesn't work on my phone, and I don't think it works on theirs. Yeah, I don't know. We're going to have to figure that part out then. It must be an Apple thing because Shanna has an iPhone. And I heard a lot of you guys, or I saw a lot of you guys in the chat. There you go. Steve Cutler doesn't work on iPhone FBS. Ain't that a bitch? Yeah, try from your computer, I guess. That sucks. It's Christopher Capello. These are the stories. Yes. Diversity training with MRE. Lee Cole's pacemaker was working overdrive as he watched a real interview tonight. Yeah. Well, look, leave it to Lee to fuck something up, and wind up with a fraud of a guy sitting next to him. Lee basically does shows with a guy who was the wash and wear burglar, okay, and a car thief. And the guy plays it off like he was a Colombo guy who robbed a jewelry store and shot and murdered someone and then went away for 18 fucking years. And it's all bullshit. Joey Dimes, $9.99. I got a feeling there will be other contact creators with members only coming soon. Probably. Dave, I'm not surprised about him. Well, listen, it is what it is. That's his choice. But I hope he realizes what he just did. Probably wasn't a good idea, real talk. Thank you, Jessica Lubrano. Yeah, it's only the first night. Listen, maybe you guys can figure it out, or I can Google it and I'll Google it right now. How do you buy a membership on YouTube through your iPhone? Become a channel member. Visit youtube.com or open the YouTube app. Go to the channel of or a video uploaded by the creator you'd like to support and see if they've enabled memberships on their channel. Click or tap join. Follow the prompts. Okay, that's just iPhone or iPad. Motherfucker. We'll figure it out. I'll be back tomorrow, so no big deal. Lee Cole tomorrow setting up a membership on his channel. Well, I don't know about him, but I think SoFlo will. I think Gunsmoke might be. You know what I mean? So we decided to do this all at once. So I think it's a good idea. It really is. It's good for us. It's good for you guys because we already came up with ideas of some cool shit we're going to do for members. You know what I mean? And, it'll be fun. It'll be something extra for the channel. Great show, FBS and Mike DiBella. Thank you, Jersey Girl 732. Frankie Rizzo, Lee stole your signal. Jesse Roth, hey Josie, put your drink down, put your old lady glasses on. That picture isn't me. I'm not sure what you mean. Miss McGinnis, he was on Gunsmokes too. Who, Real Talk? Philadelphia, you still have me up. Have to get up in 5 hours. Oh, I'm sorry, bro. FBS, look at K-Mac's question. Is there a way to put it in the chat somehow? I don't think so. Motherfucker. We got to figure this out. Let me see if this other thing gives me any... No, it seems to give me the same instructions. So we'll have to figure it out as we go. FBS is getting like Tony Soflo with the mute. Yeah, he mutes himself. I take myself completely off of the show. This is how you try. I'm calling you at 5 when I have to wake up. All right, but my phone will be on silent. You have to be subscribed already, then go into chat, and the options should show. There you go. Mikhail 1, $5. I'm glad to be a member, but don't expect me to leave my family in a hospital bed when you call. No. You are a button man as far as my channel and on YouTube, but not in real life. I would never make you take an oath. I promise you that. Let's see. As long as Lee doesn't have an OnlyFans. Ugh. Yuck. Diego Squires. I could see Lee stalking Mike, getting his phone number, and then calling him begging for an interview. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked at all if he did. Miss McGinnis, try laptop or computer. Jan Monty, great show. Thank you. Let me just see. I think I got some donations. Grant Gambone, my man Pee-wee, of course. $20 for great show, brother. Thank you. Thank you very much. And Billy Jack, my man Cannon, sent $50. And I want to thank you, Billy Jack. It's been a long time since you've been around. And trust me, I got the hint. Now I understand. See, I see Cannon like in Jimmy's chat and stuff. He hasn't been here for a while. So I've now figured out that Cannon likes mob content. And I thank him because with this $50 cash, that's $200 he sent me tonight. So I appreciate that very, very much, Cannon/Billy Jack. Danny Trio claimed to know Mike a long time. Well, I already knew that Mike didn't want to talk about that subject, so I didn't ask. Josie said the picture of Maggot's wife is me. Oh, my God. She's an asshole. Casey Robinson. Plus, it is satisfying when slab tubers get pissed at us for sending money to all of you guys' channels. Yeah, it is. That's fun for everybody. Joseph Lebrano, great show. FBS best content creator, hands down. Oh, thank you, bro. Thank you very much. So, all right, guys, I want to thank you again for everything, for buying the memberships, for donating, for being here. Even when you're just asking questions in the chat when I'm doing something like I was doing tonight with Mike, that helps me out greatly. So I appreciate you guys because, listen, we all, get draw a blank sometimes, shit like that. So I need you guys for that stuff, and I appreciate you very much. Thank you all for being here. I hope you enjoyed this show in a major way, and I'll be back tomorrow at some point with something else for you. All right? Have a good night, everyone. I love you all, and until next time, salute.